Welcome to our spine-chilling exploration of disturbing true late-night office horror stories. In this video, we'll delve into the eerie experiences that have unfolded in the seemingly mundane world of office spaces after dark. The clock strikes midnight, the fluorescent lights flicker, and an unsettling silence envelops the cubicles. What happens when the workday ends, but the fear begins? True story number 1. The Whispering Shadows. It was a typical Thursday night at the office, the kind where deadlines loom and the fluorescent lights buzz incessantly. Sarah, a dedicated marketing executive, found herself alone, typing away in the dim glow of her computer screen. The clock ticked ominously, echoing through the empty cubicles, amplifying the silence that enveloped her. As the minutes dragged on, an unsettling chill crept into the air, making her shiver despite the warmth of her sweater. Suddenly she heard it, a faint whisper, barely audible, drifting through the stillness. Sarah, the sound sent a jolt of fear through her, but she brushed it off as her imagination playing tricks. Yet, as she resumed her work, the whispers grew louder, more insistent, echoing her name in a haunting melody. Her heart raced and a sense of dread washed over her. With each passing moment, the whispers morphed into a cacophony of voices swirling around her like a sinister wind. Shadows danced at the edges of her vision, flickering just out of reach. Panic set in as she realized she was not alone. The office, once a familiar sanctuary, had transformed into a realm of terror, leaving Sarah to confront the chilling unknown lurking in the darkness. True story number 2. The Vanishing Colleague. It was a late Friday night at the office, the kind where the hum of computers and the rustle of papers filled the air, creating a comforting backdrop for those burning the midnight oil. Mark, a diligent project manager, was wrapping up a presentation when he noticed his colleague, Lisa, had been unusually quiet. They had been working side by side, but now the space beside him was eerily empty. As the clock ticked past midnight, Mark glanced around the dimly lit office, his concern growing. "Lisa?" He called out, but only silence answered. He stood up, scanning the rows of cubicles, the shadows stretching ominously in the flickering light. A sense of unease settled in his stomach as he ventured toward the break room, hoping to find her there. But the break room was empty, and the air felt thick with an unsettling tension. Suddenly, he heard a faint sound, a soft, desperate whisper echoing from the supply closet. Heart racing, he approached the door, only to find it ajar. As he pushed it open, a chilling realization hit him. Lisa's belongings were still at her desk, but she was nowhere to be found. The office, once a familiar haven, now felt like a labyrinth of dread, leaving Mark to grapple with the terrifying mystery of her disappearance. True story number 3. The Haunted Printer. In the heart of a bustling office, where the clatter of keyboards and the whir of machines created a symphony of productivity, there stood an old printer in the corner. It was a relic from a bygone era, its faded buttons and flickering lights giving it an unsettling presence. Jenna, a junior analyst, often found herself working late, and on this particular night, the printer began to act strangely. At first, it was just a few random pages that printed out, documents she hadn't sent. Confused, Jenna approached the machine, her heart racing as she read the words, "Help me." A chill ran down her spine. She glanced around the empty office, the shadows stretching ominously, and tried to dismiss it as a prank or a glitch. But as she returned to her desk, the printer whirred back to life, spewing out more pages, each one more disturbing than the last. "Get out," one page read, while another simply said, "I'm watching you." Jenna's pulse quickened, and she felt a cold sweat forming. Just as she turned to flee, the printer emitted a final, eerie sound, a low, mechanical laugh. In that moment, Jenna realized the truth. The printer wasn't just haunted. It had a mind of its own, leaving her questioning the very reality of her surroundings. As we wrap up our journey through these chilling late-night office horror stories, let's take a moment to reflect on the eerie experiences we've explored together. From Sarah's unsettling encounter with whispering shadows to Mark's frantic search for his vanishing colleague, and Jenna's spine-tingling confrontation with a haunted printer, each tale taps into the relatable fears that many of us face while working late. The isolation, the unknown, and the creeping dread of what might lurk in the shadows resonate deeply with anyone who has ever stayed behind after hours. These stories remind us that even in the most familiar environments, the unexpected can happen, leaving us questioning our reality. If you found these tales as spine-chilling as we did, we encourage you to engage with us. Hit that subscribe button for more haunting content. Make us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video and share your own late-night office experiences in the comments below. Your stories could inspire our next chilling episode. Thank you for joining us on this eerie adventure. And remember, sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that hit closest to home. Stay safe and keep the lights on.